Yeah, so also we record the meeting so we can publish it online, and as well for us to review back to make sure we don't miss anything and stuff with any comments that are given to us. Yeah.
So no bad.
Well, we're not live, but
You have it yourself, don't you? Exactly.
Okay. Share screen. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to actually before we start, because obviously we've still got over 10 minutes, but then it's just like 6. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice little breathing.
I highly recommend the biscuits.
I literally just had them. And it was so nice. Yeah. I just put the chocolate again. Yeah. Yeah. That's great. That's nice. Hello.
Okay.
We've already been coming on implementing that sort of
Well, I can't think of a statement. You will. That's all also there, but there you go. For now, I'm just going to be down today for me. That's great. Because I combined it with looking into and then half an hour sleep. You know, I didn't know more about it. What's this new showing? The thing is, the it's the sweet. It's very backwards.
Have you been trying
You are? Yeah,
no, I've got it all set up and everything.
That's it.
Yeah, you can help yourself as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, on Friday. Yeah, at the moment it feels great, but it feels like I'm just on annual leave.
Of course, yeah, and some holidays as well. Yeah, volunteering.
I think it's the fact that I've moved into my new flat. Yes.
Nice. Oh, okay. Oh, wow, okay.
And because I don't need to buy anything for it now. It's done. We've got strikes to hit tube service on the 23rd of July.
Oh, can you tell us? Just after, is that just before we start some holidays?
That's a Sunday. Yeah,
It's a Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, so the summer get home. Those are getting away.
Yeah, help yourself.
Coffee? No, thank you. We've got the ball.
It's two major changes, isn't it? Two major changes.
Absolutely.
Neutral and semi-retirement.
Yeah. Yeah. Long hairstyle. More or less. Yeah. So you do changes.
So you live around here then? So,
Yeah. Fellow Street. And if now, still on the footprint of the house, right?
Is it named the brand new, one of the brand new, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice to watch everything.
It'd be nice when it's finished.
Yeah.
Right, and the kind of fact there is something to get something. It'll be yeah.
Yeah. I found I thought I had dementia. I was amazed at all those foods were settled. Nice clean, big space through.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like walking shadow.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yes. That's really nice.
Yeah.
It'd be more than no. Because they have much just gives me stuff.
Yeah, let's be joining.
You can take a break over the summer.
Yeah. Next time I do that.
Yeah. You do, yeah. Yeah. So we do 5 day trips in the summer, and maybe quarterly they then turn out just 60. So 50 days on very, very well. We've been doing it for days now. So we stopped doing it. I think we managed last year just 20 people, I think. This year, it's just maybe about 20 people. But the summer one, 44 people. Sorry. So I said, Jason, I could tell something more about. So he very kindly agreed to go with this friend, and we tried to keep within a budget price of £300. So that was going on the Monday, coming back on the Friday. Yeah. Originally they were going to go to Western Sutton there, but the company Interchoice said that they just had they had to do really bad time, so you know, if you want to switch you to a different hotel, wasn't any better. No, it was like the best of it. The room, the bedding was dirty, the evening dinner wasn't very nice. So that's not been our experience at all at the holidays. And I just said, I think that the holiday company negotiated deals, and probably they've held the hotels to them. The hotels can't make it work anymore financially. Yeah, but I mean, £300 is good money.
Yeah.
So,
and you don't charge these for it?
no, it's they pay themselves.
They pay this.
Yeah, we don't have funds to do fundraising. So people pay for it themselves, but obviously it's something they really look forward to. And I think that's the thing.
Look, this is the Prince Bridges Park official report. The result of the meeting that we had, last month. A lot of detail. And Susan Chris is very thorough and very clear. And I wondered if she had sent a copy of this.
Susan, yeah, she did, yeah.
Oh, that's good, because I was thinking, oh gosh, how do I get this across?
No, yeah, she's got my direct email.
So you've got it now.
Yeah. Thank you.
So the travel company organises the home and maybe they'll be able to get something. But we do try and do social activities. It can be hard going to kind of get feedback. So this week we had planned to book the space as well. It was planned help with well-being day at the leisure centre. And then with the change over the new members of the different that's one of those.
It's changed.
It's just been run by the council.
And is it better? I mean, I was
Jan, sorry, we can't hear you. You've managed to mute yourself. No one online can hear the presentation. Do you mind starting again?
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
okay,
you.
sorry about that. Yeah, just to kind of recap what I just said there was just, hi everyone, welcome to the meeting. We are recording this meeting for the purpose that we can then post it online, as well as then keep it for reference as well. And then the kind of running of the meeting is that I'll run through a presentation, and then at the end I'll open up for any questions and comments at the end. So the agenda for today's meeting is obviously talking about the figures and stuff, and I think I've got to this sort of event valuation, and then we'll go through and then I'll go through the queries and questions that you guys brought up in our September consultation meeting, which was in May. And then I'll discuss kind of the next steps that we'll go through, and then that's when I'll open up the rooms to discussions. So obviously, if I just kind of...
Sorry, you won't mind if along the way when you've given a bit of the feedback, if people want to say something, because it might not all wait right till the end.
Or in the queries section, yeah.
Just as you go through, because you might say stuff that people really want to say something about when you've gone through each of the.
If we don't have any paper. We'll try and do that too. Yeah. As you guys know, that I'm from the company We Are Fair, We Are Ops. We are behind the team who manage all the production and the operations and stakeholder engagement of the festival. And on the festival, I'll be the operations manager as well as the community manager. And then while we're on live, then I have someone else actually acting as community manager based on my debriefs. And then Colombo Star, they are the actual promoters of the event. So they manage the marketing, the performer bookings, the ticket sales, and then they work in conjunction with NTS brand and the Boiler Room brand. So the event attendance, so on Saturday, we saw 5,425 people come to the festival, and that includes guest list as well. All stage music was shut off on time, which was 10 o'clock, but then we did close stage 2 early, which was a decision that we made on the day, just because we saw that there were quite a few people still left in the festival, so we decided to close it just a little bit early just to help support with the egress. And full egress was completed by 10:30. And then on Sunday, we saw 7,949 people in the festival, and that's including guest list as well. And then because the repeat of closing the stage 2 early on Saturday actually worked quite well, we decided to do it again on the Sunday. And then full egress was completed by 10:35 on the Sunday night. And then we'll talk through the noise management. So as you can see, we had 6 monitoring points around the park, and I've dotted them there on the map. And their locations. So these 8. So these 8 monitoring points throughout the whole entire day, these were getting readings taken along, as well as then if we did get any complaints and stuff where we were given the address, then we also hit those sort of addresses and measure the sound as well. But these 8 ones will be constantly monitored throughout the whole entire day. And then the noise limits that were set for us. So for headliners, it was set at 75 dB, and by headliners, it was sort of around on the Saturday, it would have kind of been sort of like around 8 PM till 10, and then also for stage 2, it was kind of, because our headliner on stage 2 was on between, I believe, it was 2 till 6 they were on. And then if they weren't classed as a headliner at Warmax or people who were closing, then they had a lower decibel of 70 dB. The noise readings during the live event, so we've done 25 readings, and on Saturday that was ranging between 49.9 to 71.3 dBs. On Sunday, we've done 23 readings, and these were ranging between 49.5 to 70 dB. So as you can see, we never actually went over our dB levels. They were kind of just in a mixture in between and stuff while we was doing our noise reports. And then so on Saturday, NTS one day, again, I just want to apologise for distributing the incorrect resident number that was on the letters and the posters being shared. But as soon as we did notice that, the community inboxes, we literally had someone just on the emails as well, just responded to anyone on the emails right away. And those were regularly checked. We did receive 1 noise complaint, but they didn't give us an address, so we was unable to take the reading at that location. Then on Sunday, we received 7 noise complaints. All complaints all gave an address to us, which we sent out our noise monitoring team to, and all were within the music noise levels. So we wasn't actually going over at all throughout the whole entire weekend. The police and crime report for the weekend while we was there. So on Saturday, we had 6 reports of phone theft and 0 arrests. And then on Sunday, we had 1 report of bag theft, 1 report of common sense, and then 1 drug possession related to the rest that happened because we caught someone before they even entered the festival with drugs and stuff. So this was given to us by the Met Police after the event. Sort of debrief on our community benefits is that, so obviously we used a local calf to feed our crew while we was on site for the 10 days, I believe. And it was Mary's Calf, which is on Camberwell Road on the top there. And then we basically spent approx 1,500 just on food with the business. And then also other villages hiring local venues to host meetings such as like this. So we're just going to keep paying for hiring this space out. And we spent across £200 so far. And then also just purchasing production tools and equipment from local hardware stores, whether we needed like ink or anything like that. And then we spent approximately £2,500 on this. And then also we saw that there was an increase of local buses being used in the area as well. So obviously that money has gone back to TfL, I believe. So that's kind of like the sort of local economy benefits that we had to the festival. Local resident benefits from the festival is that we allocated 100 free tickets to give to the residents over the weekend. All 100 was taken up. We allocated £325 discounted resident tickets over the weekend, and 233 of those were requested. We also gave 10 free and 125 tickets, £25 tickets to Tickets for Good campaign. And then we gave 10 free tickets as well to the Cost of Living campaign. And then as well as that, we also gave free tickets to the charities that we were working with, and then other locals on the day. I don't have the exact numbers on other locals of the day because those were kind of, for example, for a few occasions I'll be doing my external walkarounds and people will come up to me and go, oh, I'm a local resident. How can I get a ticket? If they just show me a little proof of their address or something, then I just let them inside the festival. Or sometimes they may be like, oh no, but I need to go home to get proof of address. So I did take down their name, left their name at the box office, and said to the staff there, if they show you proof of address, then let them in for free. And as well, there are some other local residents as well who have got either got my contact or something like that, and they would contact me, and I again sorted out any free tickets to anyone that lived around the local area. And then also we did fundraise money at the local around the local area for some charities, which was to Mentivity and Southwark Pensioners. And we raised money through our guest list, so everyone who came through guest list had to pay a donation. And in total, each charity received £1,283. So again, if we do come back in September, we hope to work with the same charities again and do the same system as well. Sort of future plans that we want to do, some improvement and changes that we want to do if for any future events that do take place in Burgess Park, is that to try and include the charities more inside the festival, whether that's actually you know, getting them to either be part like inside the festival, set up a stall, or whether it's getting the people who actually go to the charity groups to kind of do some sort of activity or a performance or something like that. Just obviously we don't have nothing planned just yet. We're setting up meetings now, and then we're going to speak about what they do and what we can offer and how we can try and include them more into the festival. To increase and improve our communication with local residents, to check letters and notices to ensure that the correct details are given. So this is obviously down to the number that was given out incorrectly. Try and work with more local businesses around the area. We feel like that now because we've done like one event here, we kind of know in which businesses are kind of a bit close or how we can try and connect to them more. More advertisement on the event, and not advertising meaning, hey, buy our tickets. It's more resident advertisements. So trying to use maybe the community notice boards, advertise the event or resident meetings as well in local papers with more information. And then also to try and include more local food traders and staff to work at the festival. So on our community website, people can sign up and then register themselves if they are a food trader, or if they just want to work either behind the bar or if they've got security badges or anything like that. So that's kind of the sort of changes that we want to do for any future events. And then also event evaluation. So as part of our event evaluation and efforts improvement planning, the delivery of our event, we're basically gathering all the data in now just so that we can actually create a report that will be published online. And then this will include stuff like attendance, audience data, complaint and inquiries, event opportunities, basically most of the things that I've run into here, but more in more detail, talking about the social economic benefits, the carbon footprint, the waste monitoring, wildlife surveys, and then also include anything like lessons learned and things that we need to improve on for the festival. This takes quite a bit of time to try and collate all this data and then put it into an actual report. But we're kind of hoping for it to be done like by August and stuff. We've got most of the data in now. It's just about going through it all and making sure that we put it in a way where everyone can understand it. So this bit here is obviously from the last meeting that we had. I understand that obviously there was a bit of confusion because I think naturally people just thought it was a debrief for the May event, but really it was a consultation meeting for the September event, if that goes ahead. So if you remember, for the ones who did attend that meeting, we took down some of the questions and queries that you guys had, and basically this is me now just kind of getting back to them. So the first one was that they never received a letter for the May event from the council, plus no new stakeholder meeting had been scheduled. So as the May event was actually a rescheduled event from last year, the first initial letter was sent out in 2022, and as the event had received already its license, maybe consultation wasn't needed and stuff, but obviously moving forward before every single event, we'll make sure that there's all meetings going ahead. The next query that came in was not all residents received a letter. Can we add letters to the community newspapers, notice boards, Facebook or Twitter, etc.? So we received a tracking map from we use a distribution company, and we received a tracking map from there. And unfortunately, maybe some homes may have been missed, but that's why for the next event, we plan on sending out the letters earlier. So in case we do hear reports of people not receiving a letter, we've then got enough time to either post them ourselves, ourselves to the people. And then also, as mentioned before, the plan also is to be posting stuff on Facebook groups, notice boards and stuff in case anyone did get missed when we use a distribution company. The other query was they could hear vehicles moving in the park at 6 AM during the live event. At times we may need to start work early to ensure that we open the event on time. Obviously on the Saturday and Sunday we don't actually have like a full 12-hour day, we kind of just have a little 3-4 hour in the morning. And then also these times have been agreed with the environmental protection team that we may start early on some occasions, and that was one of the occasions where we did have to start early. Another question that came up as well was, can the festival be moved to a different location to the park? So this location that had been set out for us by the council, and for the scale of the event that we want, no other section of the park would be suitable, because obviously we like to reach that 8 to 10,000 K cap. Can the main stage face a different way to avoid noise going to the residents and the surrounding north roads? So before creating the site plan, before creating the site layout, we worked with F1 Acoustics, who is our noise management consultants. And they basically worked on the noise modelling, and then based on their findings and experience, it was best for the stage to be facing the section of the park that's not being used, as it's the furthest distance away from residents. And then a noise plan was reviewed by the council's environmental protection team as well. So that's why the main stage was facing kind of towards, basically it was facing Cholmondeley, wasn't it? It was facing that way, because if we did have it facing any other way, then it would hit the residents a lot more louder.
That's exactly, you actually, chances actually people on Avenue Road and St George's Playground, putting the stage directly where you did at the front of the lake. You get the most people, the most people possible by putting the stage in alignment.
So the stage wasn't actually facing Albany Road, nor was it facing St George's, it was facing straight back.
Down like this, everyone got caught in it.
Yeah, so obviously based on the noise modelling, this is how we was advised that this would be the best way to do it. Again, I can go and speak to the noise modelling team and stuff, but we, you know, I could obviously I'll pass that on to the noise modelling. We'll probably do another one if we were to come back. But that was if we did face it any other way, then it would have hit the residents much louder than what they heard during the weekend there.
Yes, people were affected, but that way, if you were to move the stage and turn it the other way around or move it somewhere else.
If we face the stage the other way round, then that means it's facing the lake, and obviously we can't have.
Speaking, face it towards Orchard Road.
Again, we can't have music going in a direction towards the lake because obviously that's where the waterfowl is and stuff. And then from my ecology survey, we can't have sound going in that direction.
So you protect the wildlife, fine, but humans have to suffer in the process.
I'll take that all back to our noise consultant team and then see if there is anything changes and stuff that maybe they can do based on the feedback that we've received. But I can't exactly say like yes, we'll definitely move the stage because again I need to run it through the whole team and stuff. Another question that came up as well is that can we host smaller events at the park? So NCS Boiler Room is an event designed as a 8 to 10,000 capacity event. And the Southwark Council processes our applications, and our application was in line with their outdoor event policy regarding major scale events. So to us, it's so obviously to us, that's why we went ahead with the 8,000 to 10,000 capacity events.
Excuse me, did the police start saying that?
The police are involved in our SAG meetings and stuff. Yes.
And I went to a police meeting before that, and they said that they insisted you knock it down to 8K.
Which we did for the first year. We did have it at 8,000, yeah.
You mean last month?
Yeah, in May, yeah, we had it 8,000.
So why shouldn't they say 8K again? 8K again?
Because it's been agreed that the first one would be 8K, and then moving forward, then it'll just be 10K.
Who agreed to that?
That would have been obviously part of the Southwark Council and the SAG team and everything, yeah. The police are part of the SAG team, yeah.
So how many officers will be involved in the next one? If it goes ahead?
In which way involved?
Police officer in attendance.
So we don't actually have any say in that. The police are the ones who actually, like, we don't actually have any say or request for police to be there. The police take it upon themselves whether they want to come to the festival and or not. Yeah, we don't actually have any say on the numbers. They don't really tell us the numbers at all. They just turn up.
Attending per day that event, mate. So I imagine it's going to be a lot more if you're going to have 10K. I
can't really comment on that because again, that's all down to them. They don't tell us. Yeah.
We'll go to police meetings. We'll find out from the police themselves exactly the numbers, because obviously you're not informed of those numbers, even though you should be informed of numbers, because they do outside security. You do inside, they do outside.
No, so we actually have security outside. The police are not there to, like, basically the police are there because there's just an event, really, just like as there any other event happening in any other park in Southwark or any other park in London. So to us, all we say is just obviously we just get told how many like police will need to kind of access the site, and we just make sure that we have a little office set up for them because they may need to charge their phones, this and that, and take water breaks or whatever. The actual deployment on who they choose to send to the park, if they do want to send anyone, that's down to the police. Yeah, I don't actually have any say on that at all. Yeah.
Will there be a person from the Southwark events team there?
At the festival?
Yes.
Yes, there will be. Yeah, there's a person here from the Southwark events team. Oh yeah, Charlie.
Right. Oh, right. Okay. So. But are you supposed to be present at every single event that we're in the park?
For the major events, we will have staff on site, yes.
So why weren't you at the Windrush?
I was.
But then again, right, I'm digressing quickly, but when we ran the hotline number, we were picking up, the organiser was picking up the phone and answering the phones instead of yourself.
It's not my responsibility to answer the community hotline. That's something that an event organiser does. They provide that line and that number, and it's for them to manage.
And it wasn't a noise team from Southwark there, but that was promised to us.
So what happens is With regards to noise, all of it is covered by the premises licence. So if there are noise conditions, they're definitely able to set as a condition on the premises licence. So that all goes through the council's licensing team, and we do that in liaison with the council's environmental protection.
Obviously, we're limited time on this one, so that's probably check.
It was just so that just quickly, the environmental protection team did review the Windrush plans, and they decided that they did not need to be there all day. That there were robust.
There should have been.
There were robust plans.
There should have been.
Yeah. That will now go back.
Right, sorry, carry on.
That's right. I've only got a few more slides then to go. That's okay. So another one, another query that we received was the ecology survey was too close to the event. How come this is not done sooner? So in order to get an accurate and present time finding of what wildlife is in the park, it must be taken as close as possible to the event, but as well as considering that we do need to also have a bit of notice to make any changes based on their findings. So for this reason, we do this 2 weekends before we go on site. So then obviously the surveyor will then go to do their survey, then obviously need to take a few days to write up their report and collate their findings. And then once they send that over to us, we then have a week to make any changes to the site, which did happen. We got back our survey and it said that we had some bat wildlife living in the trees, which was kind of behind our stage 2, and we shouldn't have any lights directing to them. And in our original plan, we did actually have light around that area, around the tree areas. We removed that all away, and then also reduced the light in the area and made sure that there was no light facing the tree to disturb any of the bats. So, so this is why.
Can I just come in here? The time of year you had this, you had nesting birds in that lake. Yeah. You had a swan that was quite near the edge nesting. So tell me how you can still go ahead and know that there's nesting birds around. Also, you might not have lights going on there, but they've got all this noise plus continuous people going round the lake. Rubbish. And so how can you be prepared for this? Well, so you've looked at it, yeah. Have you took note of that? But you still, oh, that's okay. The birds are just
because based on the survey, it wasn't told that we would affect the nesting birds in the pond. All we got told with the nesting birds in the pond is just that when we, for example, when we do our egress routes and stuff, we need to ensure that our lights are not facing a certain direction and stuff. So that's kind of what we've done. We changed. We actually made the changes that were advised to us from our ecology survey.
Yeah, but surely the fact that it's spring, it's that time of the year, birds are nesting.
Yeah, so again, that's why the festival didn't happen on that side of the lake, it happened on the other side of the lake. But again, we did action everything that was advised to us on the ecology survey, and then if we do come back, another one will be taken as well, because it's a different time of the year. Even if we, even if it was, like let's just say we came back next year and made again, another ecology survey would be done. We would have just based it on the previous year ones, because we know, animals can always change. Another query that we had as well was there was a stabbing and assault on either Friday or Saturday to the park, was disconnected to the event. It's been confirmed to us that this incident was not connected to the event at all, so we were unable to find out any more information on it. Obviously the police won't release that. Southwark Council to speed up the debrief meeting as soon as the event is over. So as the festival was held at the start of the season, we need some time again to gather the data from the event and then host our internal debriefs as well, such as with the contractors and also our management team and SAG teams, before we can obviously come and then host a debrief meeting with the residents. That's why this is done now and wasn't done like a week just after the event. Yeah.
Strikes me that because of the confusion about the consultation for the September one, actually for residents, having a debrief or an opportunity to feedback straight away was really helpful. If you can't, I appreciate that you want to get all this information together first. Is there another way of getting resident feedback quickly? Like, is there like a survey, something that can be done so they can start saying what it is sooner? So I appreciate this, but actually it was helpful to them to be able to come and tell you straight away what had happened.
Okay, so let's just say if we come back again for the next event, not necessarily host another meeting like this, but if we sent around maybe like a form or something like that people can fill out, or if people, or like a time and maybe just a quick little meeting.
I mean, these are the guys who live locally, so what do you think? What would help you?
I think it's cool.
Oh yeah, what does that as well, yeah?
I think just for this year, so obviously the May event was a postponed event, it should have taken place last September. So the timeline's been really unfortunate crossovers. In going forward, if the event happens again, that won't happen again. So
no, but my point is that actually it was helpful for the residents to be able to feedback more quickly than 6 weeks later.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No,
and actually that's the principle, is that the sooner the better, and how can that be facilitated, bearing in mind that what you want to do, Jan, is get all of this together first before you come back, as you have done today.
Okay, we'll look into that and see what we can do to basically give an opportunity for it to happen like right after the event, while it's all still fresh in your minds and stuff like that. Yeah, we'll definitely look into that for future events. Whether that be like a quick survey form to fill out online, or whether that can just be like a quick online drop-in where we all just talk and discuss, and I can note down all your queries and then do this bit again for the future ones. Fernando's requesting this to record this meeting both. I don't know what to do on that one. So that one is there on that slide. So then, I've lost my mouse now. There we go. So does another query that we received in the other meeting was, does the main path and walkway need to be included in the festival site? So the main path is sort of within our licensable area, but that's why, because we noticed the main path was gone, that's why we ensured that the surrounding paths were kept open so people can still walk around the park. Another query is, can there be a lower DB level? So DB levels, again, are set by the licensing team, which follows the average levels that are recommended for inner city festivals. And we never reached a max noise limit, and we've always kept within the limit.
Sorry, can I say something? Hello, I've just joined. Sorry to interrupt you. What are the decibel limits, and what grade festival was that for the May events? For the May event?
So the decibel levels that we have for the May event is 75 dB. And while we was doing our constant monitoring checks as well during the day, we never actually went over that. I think the highest
I disagree with that entirely, because whoever's doing these checks can do it at their own convenience. And the residents, for example, myself, who lived there, can guarantee you they were not at that level or 20 decibels lower, as they said.
Oh no, so it's 75, that's the max, yeah. So and the thing is as well is that we've got like 8 monitoring points that are regularly monitored, and then
so you didn't have any on Emberton, you had the end of Danesfield, you had the end of Wendover. You know, it's really the most important block should be done, and as I said, there's no way it was 75 decibels.
Is it persistent testing, or is it just
it's how often is it tested? When, I mean, this is at your disposal, their disposal to say whatever. And if the event is based just on those findings, then that's not really fair. Maybe a resident should be accountable for one of them, because all I'm hearing is the next event, the next event, the next event. But a lot of residents don't want any events because it's so disruptive and disturbing, and we felt traumatized. It's almost like being abused, listening to music, shaking your wall all day long. And then it rolls into the next day, so you don't get any break. It's just wrong. It's not the right place to have these major festivals there at Burgess Park. Whatever the logistics are, whatever the facts are you're bringing to us, for residents that are suffering, it is wrong, and I'd like it stopped personally.
No, I totally hear what you're saying, but then also we have received quite a lot of positive feedback as well from residents saying that.
I spoke to the residents on my block, and they were leaving. They were felt forced to leave their home So I'd like to speak to these residents. Where are they? They're here?
I mean, no, they
enjoyed themselves.
I'm
sorry, can you let Jan answer your questions?
I have actually I did invite those residents to the meetings to come and attend the meeting, but they only just emailed. That's all. So and as well, I don't have, you know, I'm not allowed to like share any of their details.
That's fine. I do find it interesting when I spoke to like Peter Golding and saying, oh, residents are really up for it. But I would like to know, if I was a resident that was really up for it, and there were other people that are really suffering, for example, my mum, who's got Parkinson's, whose head wouldn't stop shaking after the event. And even though she went to have an eye test, she couldn't sit still, and the ophthalmologist telling her, please can keep your head still. It's having a negative impact on us. We cannot function. And that's just simply not fair. People can enjoy themselves somewhere else. If it's having this much of a negative impact, it really needs to be considered.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, and I'll pass that over to the team and stuff when we review obviously when I speak to the noise management team and stuff. Sorry, what was the address? What road, sorry, did you say you lived on? What was your address?
I live on Albany Road.
Albany Road. Albany Road is quite long.
Yeah, opposite the event.
Opposite the event, okay.
Can I just ask you, because you said there were 2 areas where you felt that ought to be monitored. I couldn't quite catch what those were.
I said the blocks that are opposite, for example, Emberton, Danesfield.
Danesfield.
Yeah, these ones that are sort of right opposite the events, mainly.
Someone's got someone come on, who's got a, that's it.
Okay. Okay, sorry, so that was Danesfield and
Emberton.
And I think, Adrian, I think that's your speaker.
I just
I think. So, Adrian, I think that's your speaker.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but it's really crackling. Are you able to maybe use the chat function? Oh, I'm really sorry, Adrian. I think he's going to use the chat function because we can't. Okay, so while we wait for Adrian to come back and type his query that he had, I'll just carry on running through this. So, sort of like the next steps for us would be to submit a comprehensive event evaluation report to the council for the main event. And then Suffolk Council will circulate the findings of the report in regard to the current application being held for Boiler Room in September. Stakeholder meetings will be arranged with the following for the circulation of report as well. Also meetings with partner charities for better engagement for next steps. And then also update the community website with updated information for the September consultation, look into notice boards to advertise the events as well, keep up our communication with the residents and research new ways where we can improve our community engagement.
Sorry, can I just clarify something? Yeah. Which report's going to be, the stakeholder engagement meeting is to discuss which report, the council's one, or your one?
It will kind of be both, because from the event evaluation report, then that's when the council can then do their consultation findings. Yeah. So we will, I believe, is that right, Charlie?
So the consultation findings report is in this September. That will report on the findings that took place. Consultation finished on 13th of June. Once that's been circulated, there'll be another chance to comment on the report. And then there will be a stakeholder engagement meeting just coming through. Can I just have a timescale? Because I know they're going to do this, but they don't seem to have any time.
So the report should be out in the next, where are we? So the report will be out at the end of this month.
Okay.
And then the stakeholder meeting, we haven't got a date for that yet, but we can work that out. Yeah.
It's tight, isn't it?
Through.
Yes, I think that's going forward. Perhaps it's really good to have the time.
Yeah,
so that
yeah.
everyone
I'll
can know that.
I'll put a timeline together and send it.
When will what day will the council decide either way whether September event is approved or not? What day is that?
So you'll get the report, you'll get a chance to digest that report. There'll be another everything where you can, if you're not happy with the content of that report, the council will give an indication of what it intends to do in that report based on findings that you will have another opportunity to.
So what is the date where the council say, yeah, I'm going to the event?
It will be at the decision will be made at the end of that second consultation period.
So in other words, next month.
Early next month. Early next month. I'll put a timeline through this, not
Okay, so with that said, yeah, so that's basically the end of the presentation. So if anyone has any, now we can just open up the room to anyone that has any questions.
Did Adrian come back with a question then?
No, I have asked him on the chat and I have tried to unmute him again, but unfortunately we're still getting that feedback.
Jan, Adrian's question is in the chat.
Oh, is it in the chat?
Yeah.
Let's go to the chat.
Charlie, I'd like
okay,
so the council to consider, really seriously consider not letting this go ahead. I feel, and I represent Aylesbury Tenants and Residents Association, the three of us do. Yeah. Burgess Park is not made for these big events. Now I live right down into Thurlow Street in a new build. I'm lucky enough to have good double glazing, and I can still hear it. Also, on the evenings when you're finished, Thurlow Street is a rush of people. They've had a great night, they've enjoyed themselves, and all they're doing is walking to go probably up to the Elephant, but making lots and lots of noise, singing, shouting, which again isn't really good. Yeah. I feel that I love that lake. I love the wildlife, and I think it's not fair what they're doing. I don't understand why it can't go down the other end of the park where the lake isn't. But the one thing I will give them credit for is the way they handled their rubbish. Their bags all around the park for people to put rubbish in. And when you went over the next day, it was pretty clean, not unlike the last event. Yeah. But I'm sorry, I'm just dead against it for the location. The park isn't big enough.
I concur with that. Should be on a tennis court. Should be on like on the Campbell Road side or a tennis court side.
That would be a better place. So we've spoken about this, yeah. So I have questions for that. So that will go into
I don't mean to be a killjoy. It's lovely, you know, that people enjoy this sort of thing, but the noise is horrendous for our area, and I just think it's so upsetting for that lake.
So what will happen specifically with the noise complaints, the nuisance complaints, is that all gets fed back to our licensing and environmental protection teams for them to review. And it may well be that they review the conditions, the noise management conditions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand much about decibels and one thing. I know when it's loud and when it's not. And it's probably a lot more noise than those in front of Albany Road. Yeah. But us back, the noise travelled. Yeah. And it travels, and it was noisy.
It gets deflected off a window, apparently. Bounces around into the state, which we've known.
And we've had, our tenants association have had a lot of complaints from people, like that lady said, and a lot of people were really so stressed out.
Yeah. So we've captured all of that because that's the feedback that came in during that consultation various people. So that has all been captured, and that has all gone through to the noise analysis and team.
And regarding the number of complaints that you received, you might have checked out the window, because if you remember, hotline was completely wrong. Because I'd been advertised 3 months, it was wrong.
Yeah.
So, you know, 3 months and no one bothered to double check something, I can't believe that. So whatever complaints you receive, times that by 100, then you'll be closer to the facts. It's irrelevant. Whether you got it's relevant because it wasn't working from day one. And anything that was emailed to them apparently was not reacted to quick enough or later in the evening, basically. So that whole side of it completely failed.
No. Yeah, so they've acknowledged that. That was,
yeah, they acknowledged it, but we suffered for it, basically speaking, and said, sorry, and that's it. So if I remember wrong, 3 months down the line, and you discover that on a Saturday night.
And also
unforgivable.
And also the events also stop park runs as well.
Yes. So, yeah, I think
she's not fair.
Junior park run might. But the main park run was cancelled on the live event day on Saturday.
Excuse me, can we go back to we were talking about acoustics, and I wanted to say something at that stage. I live in St George's Church, as some people are aware, and I've noticed, I've made observations looking through Park and back to the building, that when you're in open space, the sound is kind of dispersed, softened and dispersed. When you actually come up against big solid building, tall building, it hardens and sharpens, it becomes a lot more clear and louder. And it's something that I have been observing, and it's particularly nice for our building. It's used to be an old church, but it's been designed for using sound in a way it's gathered together and then it rises up. But it's very noticeable, the contrast when you're walking through the park and then come up against the actual structure of the building, how it softens and then it's hard and sharp and loud. And I think most people around here, they're in buildings that are quite several stories high and would have a similar experience. And also I wanted to add in relation to the woman who was speaking through Zoom at that meeting, whose mother had Parkinson's. It is very, very difficult in summertime. You've got to open windows because that's more. Yeah. And if you're in a new building and you're regulating temperatures and so on, if you don't open windows, the temperature stays.
Yes, what we found.
New building. Yeah. But most buildings aren't as sophisticated as that. And you just want to open windows exactly down.
Okay, yeah, I've noted all this down and stuff so I can feed it back to our noise management consultant. I'm just going to run through some of the stuff that's being said on the chats here. Is someone here is at home, a resident, I live not far from the park, Avondale Square, not as close as speaking as some of the speaking residents, but the sound level here was more controlled than any concert in Burgess Park in the last 20 years. So thank you, Adrian, for that comment there. Was the ecology report a private one or one promoted by Southwark Council? So it is, I believe it's a private one, so we actually commission it ourselves. And Michelle's actually got back to the answer here. Yeah, so we use an independent consultant, and then but then also the council have their own ecology officer as well that's reviewed. Does anyone online have anything they want to ask or questions and stuff before I take it back to the people in the room?
To me, it just sounds like it's going to go ahead anyway, and we're just here to attend and say that it's really loud, really distressing. The floors were shaking, and it doesn't really matter how it affects you. That's what it feels like to me.
No, that's not necessarily the case. I mean, we haven't had the event licensing, it's still in consultation. Meetings like this and stuff does get fed back to the council and the protection team and stuff. So I don't want you to feel like that this is just that it. I don't want you to feel like that to us the event has been confirmed. It hasn't been confirmed yet. Obviously, if it does go ahead, we do need to put some planning into place right now. So in case we do get the event application, an event license, then we can basically come on with the event. So some planning has to be done. Yeah, to us, it does, like, to us, there's no, like, we don't have an agreement or promise in place that we are returning back in September, but we just have to keep mentioning if we do come back in September and stuff like that.
Sorry, question. Sorry.
Just to clarify, so the sound monitor, what is it they use? Is it something that can be accessed online? Is it on all the time? Is it on only key times during the day? How long does it stay on for? These are the things that I'd be interested in. And also I'm concerned that obviously this is the feedback you're getting from them, from the F1 Acoustics, saying that it was 75 decibels, because they are devices that you can download on your phone and check.
I don't know exactly whether it can be like a live sort of like a live result where people can just like log in somewhere and see it live. I'm not too sure. That's actually quite interesting to hear, and it's something I'm going to speak back to them. But we do have a report back from them which will go into our event evaluation report. So once that's released, you'll then be able to see how many times the readings were taken, where they were taken, how long they're taken for, and basically everything that and all the results that we find out.
Sure. So this is after the event, isn't it? Sorry to cut you off there, but this will be always after the event.
Yeah, this will be after the event, but that's why now hearing what you just said there, one of your suggestions, I'm going to go to the noise consultant and be like, is this something that can be published on the day live for people to be able to basically log into or like join or whatever, so people can know.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How I don't know if you can answer this as well, Charlie. How do they work out the noise levels and where? Because Lady made a point about if it hits a hard building, it's noisier. And then you said that based on the noise report, you set the stage in a particular direction, the license covers a certain area. I'm literally like, oh, we can do, just looking it up, noise modelling. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. You can like noise prediction and mapping software takes the predictions from the sound system and combines it with the topography of the site. So I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds interesting. Is that the kind of thing the noise people will do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they give us like a heat map that has different colours and stuff that shows us like how, like, where would be the loudest, and then whether it would be quieter here, quieter there, and louder. So then obviously we look at that heat map, and we first send them the site plans, be like, this is our proposed plan, what do you think? Sometimes it has happened in the past where they come back and go, oh no, you need to turn it this way, that way, and then we'll go pass it again to the council and everyone, and just keep passing it around until everyone's kind of agreed on a layout that works. Yeah, I think Charlie's going to say something.
Yeah, that would be I can share that.
Yeah.
We had a follow-up meeting at Friends Burgess Park about this, and somebody else came in and said that I believe at Peckham Park, where they had a music event, the monitors were set up around the event. They were going the whole time. You could actually walk around, see the monitors, and check what the sound was doing. And I think that kind of thing is pretty important, because then you know what that is. And if it is excessive, as people are saying, and I have to say, I would agree, we need to say, we can't live with it. This may be an agreed number, but it isn't acceptable. We can't have it.
It's a number, but unfortunately, a number doesn't reflect how much actual noise and music comes across and how it affects you, especially in the buildings that we have, which are basically concrete or brick, and it's literally like it reverberates around, it stays there. But for it to have our side, if you think the music is coming from deep into a state, it's not coming from the park, which is only 50 yards away. Once you go to the park,
And sorry, just one other thing. And something else that was brought up was the question of generators, which are generating the energy for whatever. Now I can't say about yours, but certainly somebody took measurements at another event in Burgess Park, and the particulates were very, very high, very bad for children. I realize yours wasn't for children, it was bad. But I think that's something that Southwark Council is probably asking. I know you have a policy, but we need to make sure that anybody coming into the park is generating a lot more pollution.
What event was that, do you know?
Sorry?
What event was that, do you know?
Who was it? It was Eden. Eden.
So I know with our generators, we actually on this Mayburn Park, we actually had solar powered panels up to
that was to cover all energy.
No, that covered that part of like most of it. So I think it covered like a certain percentage of it, and then the other ones was bio oil fuel, I believe, because also part of the sort of guidelines we can't be using like sort of like petrol or those type of generators and stuff. But again, we are working to kind of like increase the amount of solar powered energy that we do use on site or keep to bio on it. Yeah.
I think that information is to come in the report as well.
Oh yeah, it will be on the report. Yeah. It'll be included in the event evaluation report. Yeah.
So you get these emissions and that we generators and transport and travel solutions.
Excuse me, I just want to add something to research before what Shane was saying. About the noise levels, I've lived in Central District. Inside the flat, I don't have any external windows that are over the facing a park. Most of my windows are looking into the interior of the building. But what really gets to me in terms of noise and in terms of brain intrusion, my whole body is intruded upon, is the bass. In previous events, and it goes on, years and years, goes back a long way. And I can say about this event that it's like the noise levels, if you're looking at the different kinds of instruments, like the bass to, say if you look at an instrument panel, it's as though the bass seemed to be tuned in a way that was more subtle. It wasn't as overbearing as it has been in previous events.
Oh, the bass wasn't as bad.
It was adjusted, or it was probably more sophisticated equipment.
Yeah, okay.
And I didn't suffer in terms of brain intrusion. I was able to actually go about doing other things. I was aware of noise in the background, but I have suffered a whole lot of things, I have to say. And even, I made that observation because it's been very, very bad.
Yeah, no, thank you for that, yeah.
Can you give us any financial information with regards to May events?
Financial information on again, because I don't have, it's not my company that generates the money from the event. It's our client, and we don't have the we don't have the say so to release that information. I can ask them to see if we can add it into the evaluation report, but again, it's not us that's making the revenue.
Tickets were going for £62.50.
That was on final release. The tickets actually started off at £20 and then went up gradually. So not every ticket was sold at £65. In fact, there was actually quite a So not every ticket was sold at £62.50. In fact, sorry, correct me. It was actually started off with £10 tickets, and then it went up to 20, and then it kind of gradually went up into different releases.
There's no way they will make any money.
Not every festival. So we kind of have a thing, obviously, we do quite a few festivals. First year festivals never make any money. Second year festivals, you're lucky even if you break even. Third year festivals, that's where maybe you might make some profit in there. But that's, and this is again, all festival promoters, we like to say that they're basically like gamblers, because again, they lose a bit. Not many festivals actually make a lot of profit or money into it, because production costs, artist costs, stuff like like that, that can cost up to maybe £1 million, and ticket sales barely pay for the actual production and arts costs.
So a good rough guesstimate would be for the May event, 50,000 people, 14K. I basically estimated basically 600K plus.
I think they were at a loss though, because
no, it's the gross. It's not net, it's gross.
But because the event was planned, they lost a lot of money on.
Yeah. But the next one in September, which it will go ahead. No matter what we say, it will go ahead. They will be looking towards a meal gross to make it to try and make it.
Again, that's quite difficult to tell because obviously, I mean, they sell the ticket prices at different costs and stuff, and not everything will cost exactly the same. Some things will go up in the car.
The tickets is half of it.
Yeah.
We actually did a walk around before the event actually started. So the prices for, you had a 50-foot long bar. You had services for bag, coat, and other things, check-ins, 5, 10, 50. So if you average out as someone spent £50, you used to get to a £600K figure on the day.
And again, that will go all back to actually paying for the festival, paying for the artists, the bookings, the stuff like that, part of hire fee, paying for the contractors, the security and stuff like that. You know, like none of these stuff are cheap, and but I mean, like it is quite hard for any festival promoter to make any profit whatsoever.
Yeah, being really cynical. Council make money. Basically, the park taken over for 9 days. 4 days set up, 2 days concert, 3 days taking everything down basically. So 9 days we lose the park, so they have to pay for 9 days worth. So hopefully they'll pay more than 50K for that privilege. Let's not penny, but we'll never find that out, obviously, never. But council make money, promoters hope will eventually make money. We are in the middle of this, basically speaking, and we say what we say, basically speaking. How far it goes, this is
no, I totally get what you're saying. I'm just going to quick chime in because we are coming close to the end. We have gone past. And that's why as well. When if we do come back and start, we really want to try and use more local businesses to try and help them with more money and stuff. So like this time in May, we did use a local path instead of wherever. Oh no! I was getting back to the one about your question on the sort of about how much how much the area will be making. Yeah, so like, I'm going to have to make this the last question. Yeah.
It's about litter.
Yeah.
You said that all fencing and all recyclable, reusable, and cable ties will be used, and we found on this pic after the event that there were lots of threats, and
yeah,
they weren't. You guarantee? My question would be really: do you try? Is there somebody who launches that kind of thing during the event? And like, there's not from your event, but there was a lot of plastic cutlery after the last event.
Yeah,
and it's that hard. You follow very carefully to the litter, to the letter, basically. Yeah, but others don't. And I would to know if it's monitored.
It is monitored. We will normally have, and this is the combination of ops officers and defence officers that will do site handovers before the event, and issue keys and do site checks and stuff. Take photos of the ground in case of damage is caused during the event, and then there will be a site take back. So after everything's moved off site, the same will happen again. There'll be a site take back, parks or events officers.
But Charlie, I told you, didn't I, from the last event, it went all in the lane.
Yes, and I totally agree with you because I witnessed it as well. So there were problems with that particular event. So yes, we are aware of that. It tends to be the events that haven't got that much of a budget of waste management. We're going to do the rest. I mean, yeah, Gina, I totally think, you know, we've spoken about this, I totally agree with you. we will be, because it's new event, sustainability guides come in, it is killing, so there are little teething problems as we get going with this, we get people used to doing it stuff. So but we will be monitoring one from them.
Can we suggest things like for events where there isn't much budget behind them? Can you suggest that you put things like bring their own application?
Yeah, I know.
More sustainable ideas.
Yeah,
but they don't have to bring plastic. So they don't have to take them with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's other ways to do it.
It is just, I guess the guide is creating that awareness now. It's just a case of us trying to push and push and push.
Yeah, so obviously we're going to have to end the meeting there. Thank you for everyone attending, and obviously we'll reach out again when we want to do our next consultation meeting and stuff. Thank you to everyone who joined online as well, and we'll obviously give us a couple of days and then we'll post this meeting up online. But thank you.
Thank you.